Greetings from Radhakrishna, Chairman at Global Blockchain Pioneer Association. Our idea is to spread knowledge, spread the knowledge of blockchain especially. And we have a project called OXYCHAIN. OXYCHAIN is exclusively for the marketplace projects on blockchain. And we have our own cryptocurrency called BMVcoin. Today, the objective of this meeting is to meet with Stephen from NEM. Over to you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Stephen is one of the council members of the NEM Foundation, and they have built their own blockchain, and it's an enterprise blockchain. We are going to listen more from you on who you are, what is your foundation, what is your project. Over to you, Stephen.
Hi everyone, just to let you know, NEM.io Foundation, we are registered in Singapore, and our blockchain has been around for 3 years already. And what we did was, when we built the core team, looked at what was happening around the world, and we saw that we had actually a need for an enterprise-grade blockchain. So we built that purely with the idea that a lot of companies or governments out there who want to develop solutions on blockchain, they don't need to understand how the engine works, right?
Correct.
So they just want to develop their platform, but they need the integrity, the trusted network, and the scalability of a blockchain. So that's how the idea of NEM came about. And with that, we actually built it from scratch 3 years ago. And what is today, a lot of the features that you find in the NEM blockchain is able to be used by enterprise companies who want to develop not just for fintech, but also for non-fintech applications. So around the world, we actually have different use cases that are using our NEM blockchain. And essentially, our foundation, our charter is to help people use the NEM blockchain, and powered by NEM technology.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. See, basically, my understanding of blockchain is every asset is stored in a blockchain.
Yes.
And every asset is associated with the address. So it is all about the addresses and the assets and the transfer of assets from one address to the another address.
Yes.
Okay. And any project should start with the KYC.
Yes.
Okay. So who is the person getting onto the blockchain? Okay. What is his background? So how do you have any specific modules that is going to take care of the KYC, which is ready built in your project?
Well, for NEM itself, right, we have something called mosaics. NEM mosaic is essentially any digital asset you want to create on our NEM blockchain, right? So if you have a mosaic, we have a second feature within the NEM, which is called namespaces. Think of it as like domain name, right?
Yeah.
So if, let's say, if you are, let's say, Toyota, right? You will own the domain name or the namespace Toyota. Any asset that you create, be it Toyota coin, Toyota loyalty program, Toyota, any unit of measure, right, which is a mosaic, can be transferred and moved across the NEM blockchain, right? So when you do that, you can actually set a lot of rules. One of them is, for example, Toyota tokens can only be stored on Toyota wallets, right? So that's one of the rules. You can say, okay, I don't want transaction fee, or you can say, yes, I want to charge a levy, or you can say, okay, I want it to be a finite amount, that means immutable, a finite number of tokens. Or you can say, I can create mutability. Like, for example, you can create, let's say, a share, a unit of share. You might today want to create 500 million. Tomorrow, you might want to add another 100 million. So that's the feature that you find that within NEM, it's very easy for you to create something like that. Now, when it comes to KYC, basically, it is a layer that people can develop. When they develop their platform, they put the KYC part onto their solution, but underlying it is actually the NEM blockchain technology. So within our blockchain is a pure blockchain engine, right? Applications like KYC and even storage, right, can sit above that. So that's where the distinction is. So in a way, think of us as a engine. If you want to build a bus or a truck, you just build it, and you just need to use the engine. You may not need to know how to
how
program,
the engine is working and how the class
correct,
files are,
correct.
what input you are giving and what output it is
Correct.
generating. It is totally internal to the engine.
Yes. So, so there are some blockchains out there where you really need to roll up your sleeves and learn their language, program in their language. With NEM, actually, you don't have to because we are API driven.
Okay.
So when you need to make the transaction call, the API will, you just need to understand the syntax of how the NEM API works. And your platform will automatically be able to reach into and make the process quite easily because of APIs.
So let me take a few examples. The most powerful examples today, Amazon, you have merchants and buyers.
Yes.
Okay, and then Uber, you have drivers and riders.
Yes.
Okay, and then lending club, you have lenders and borrowers.
Yes.
So they both come onto the platform, they launch what they can do, and they make an agreement, and they do the settlement.
Yes.
So this is what I call it as a marketplace. So can I launch a marketplace using NEM and EM?
Yes, in the case of any industry, any ecosystem that requires some sort of settlement, basically you create digital assets on the NEM blockchain or what we call mosaics. You can actually swap. Right?
Okay.
Once you have those digital assets, you can actually swap them quite easily or move them around within the NEM blockchain. Because at the end of the day, the commerce that you're trying to do or the marketplace basically is all about swapping one for the other.
Correct.
So that's the reason why when people need to build that type of settlement system or what I call exchange, even in the, let's say, the energy sector or even in the telco space, you can actually create that on the NEM blockchain and let it settle. All right. Within our NEM blockchain, you can also do messaging. In fact, messaging for us is you can come in 3 flavors. You can have text messaging, you can have encrypted messaging, or hex messaging. So you can even transport that across the network, not just the digital asset.
Okay. So how do I use the NEM? Is it open source? Do I need to download? Do I need to learn? What is the process?
Actually, just as we built it based on the Satoshi's 9-page paper, a lot of the concepts were borrowed from that, and that's the reason why today NEM is an open source platform. You can go to our GitHub, you can actually download it and play with it. Recently, we just announced our latest version called Catapult. Catapult has a lot more features in there, a lot of industry first. Okay, Catapult is our version 2.0. It's already in developer release, and in fact, if you have developers willing to play around with it, you can go to our website, nem.io, and you can download and sign up for the developer release and play with the Catapult. We have a testnet going. One of the features of Catapult that's very powerful is that, of course, it's significantly faster. We can do nearly 4,000 transactions per second. Okay. That's one. Okay. Second, we do something what we call a dynamic transaction. See, most transactions on blockchain today is if I push to you, that's how the transaction happens. But I can do what we call a multi-smart transaction where I can push and immediately execute a few more transactions simultaneously.
Fire more than one transaction simultaneously.
So therefore, one shot execute 3 or 4 transactions simultaneously across multiple parties. So that type of smartness is built into Catapult itself already.